Why, hello YouTube. This is Baylor Mage again, and today we've got the second batch of gems, but our nice editor has edited down the live reactions into a much smaller video for YouTube instead of recording a second one. So let us know if you like that format better, or if you want recorded videos that then like link to the whole long thing like we did for the first one. Either way works for us, but that is it. That's it. All right, what do we got? Earthquake of Amplification. Earthquake, longer duration, more damage and AoE per duration. I mean, I don't know if this is like a good build, but I could easily see, I mean, 3 seconds, I know I can get that to 12, maybe higher. I know I can get that to at least 12. 15% more damage with hits per 0.1 second duration. 6% more damage with ailments per 0.1 and 2% more AoE per 0.1. Are we going to see a thing where somebody like runs into a boss and essentially one-shots it, but with a 20-second delay? Where they like walk up, do a few shouts, go bonk, and then they just like run around and just try not to die for the next 20 seconds, waiting for the aftershock to go off, and then it go boom. Oh my god. Oh my god. That would be so funny. End to fight, intimidating cry. Use Giga Duration stacked Earthquake of Amplification in a 4-length somewhere. Begin DPSing the boss down with Bone Shatter like normal. 15 seconds later, reality detonates itself as you deal 2,250% more damage. Earthquake goes off, one-shotting the boss and the surrounding 3 screens for the 15% more damage. Alright, next. Is it known as a massacre? Fires projectiles in a circle. 19 projectiles. That's like 4 more and in a circle. But the cast time's awkward as fuck. I mean, I guess you can just trigger it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of making things clunky via cast time. I understand that you want like a downside to happen. Like, here's some upsides and here's some downsides so that you would use them in different cases. In my opinion, cast time is never where we should be playing with that.
Magic find characters ready.
Things don't get played even if they are strong, if they're too clunky and awkward. That's something we should avoid all the time. Oh, today, pretty good. Explosive Concoction of Destruction. Explosive Concoction of Destruction. Lower added damage from flask. Ruby adds crit multi, +2 to crit chance. Consumes 1 charge per projectile fired from 1 flask of each of the valids, with crit multi coming from the ruby. Attack speed 115% of base. Attack damage 100% of base, plus 8% to base critical strike chance. Weirdly interesting, actually. Alright, whatever. Explosive Trap of Shrapnel. Explosive Trap of Shrapnel. Deals physical damage, trap lasts 4 seconds, 50% conversion. Base explosive radius 1.8. Base secondary 3.6. Base smaller explosions 1.9. Caused 9 smaller explosions. Smaller explosions have between 30% reduced and 30% increased base radius at random. So it's more damage and damage effectiveness, larger secondary radius and smaller secondary explosion. This is weird. Isn't this just better? This is just a go-to change into this when you can, right? Get less overlaps. Okay. So probably more of a clear gem then. Able to clear better. So this is supposed to be for single target, but it comes with 30% less trap throwing speed, which even if they fucking... I was going to say, even if they doubled the number, I wouldn't want to play it with reduced, with like less trap throwing speed. But they didn't double the number. They nearly tripled the number. Maybe I would put up with less trap throwing speed then. I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm interested. Uh-oh. Eye of Winter. More damage effectiveness. Plus 4 shards from quality. Less scaling damage. Eye cannot hit enemy. Only fires projectiles on collision or dissipates. Okay. Okay. Eye of Winter of transience? Oh my god. Wait, there's no text. I was waiting for the text. Thank you for the biddies. Whatnot. I don't really know how either of these Eye of Winters are gonna work. They're interesting and different, and Eye of Winter is like uniquely strong in certain ways. This one has 50% more projectile speed, which excites the fuck out of me, but I don't know how that's gonna work. Okay, so what's this one? Flame Surge of Combusting. So we've got less more mana, more cast time, more damage effectiveness. No more multi against ignited enemies, but it can ignite itself. That's a pretty good damage effectiveness and a pretty good base amount of damage of fire damage. It's got +9 to the area of the effect of length, and it can ignite itself while still having a 35% burning ground effect. This is like, yeah, instead of having like a One Link or an Arcanist brand Flame Surge to like its own thing, to like as like a buff, this is more like Flame Surge is your ability. And it'll put a burn on the ground based on its ignite, which it will deal, and should be able to deal a pretty decent amount of. This is like Flame Surge is your actual build rather than slotting Flame Surge into an ignite build as a support. Those are some pretty reasonable numbers. That's actually quite a lot of area as well. Cast Time feels bad? Arcanist brand. Arcanist brand. Armageddon brand is dead to me. It's an Arcanist Flame Surge of Combusting build. Flame Blast of Celerity. Celerity? That doesn't sound like a word. But okay, if you say so. Flame Blast has got more cast time, more damage effectiveness. Maximum 3 stages though. More AoE scaling per stages. No ignite chance, no ailment multipliers. And automatically releases at max stages. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Huh. Pizza Totem's back on the menu. Pizza Totem's already automatically released at full stages. This is a much quicker. That's a pretty good amount of base damage. It's got 100% effectiveness, which is low, but not really because it's 165% more per spell damage. That might be really good. Yo, some of these are really interesting. What's this one? Flame Blast of Contradiction. 50% chance to ignite, 600% more spell damage. This is what Flame Blast always should have been. Channels a consecrated explosion, which releases when you stop using the skill in a smaller area. This is how base Flame Blast should always have worked. 50% chance to ignite enemies, 600% more spell damage. So it starts big. So if you were self-casting it, it starts big. You boom, 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 boom. And then when you channel to get all the damage, it goes... That's what Flame Blast should have been. Holy shit, Flame Blast is a build. Yo, no, this is the exciting gem. I take it back. This is actually the exciting gem. At fuck all those other, it's 50% chance to ignite too. Oh my god. Self-cast Flame Blast Elementalist is now a proper build. You just have to get this. Well, with Flame Blast totems, you don't want it to do this, right? Because Flame Blast totems will automatically release at 10 stacks. So it's never going to have the big explosion. You want it to be the normal where it starts small, goes big, because it'll give you a better chance to hit everything. Flame Blast 2, so this one actually has less damage and less damage effectiveness, but more stage scaling damage, but shrinks your AoE. Flicker Strike of power. Am I just to assume this is going to be power charges? Yup. Flicker Strike based on power charges. Okay. Flicker Strike spends power charges to reset and has increased crit chance per power charge. It also just has a 50% chance to gain power charges on crit. So it's not like a huge deal to get the rest of the power charge generation. In fact, multi-strike on its own might be enough. Forbidden Rite of Soul Sacrifice. Deals 15% of your maximum energy shield as base chaos damage. Take 40% of your maximum energy shield as chaos damage. Criticals fire up to 9 surrounding. It's Forbidden Rite, but scaling off your energy shield. Oh. Yeah, it still costs 45 life, so we can't do CI. But you can do low life really well. Frost Bomb of Forthcoming. Higher cooldown, but more duration. Area from quality. And more damage per duration. I'm not excited by that one. The damage numbers are great. The damage effectiveness is great. I just don't see myself using it. Frost Blink of Wintry Blast. Wintry Blast? No cooldown, but no longer instant. 0.85 cast time. More cost, no chilled ground, cannot chill, removes chill. I wonder if it still inherits the base movement speed stuff, you know. So the movement skills right now, even the ones that aren't instant, like Flame Dash isn't instant. The first instance of using it recently is still instant because it's a just because of the movement skill. It's just part of what they did to all movement skills. I wonder if this holds that, so you've still got a Frost Blink that's instant, but then no cooldown on it, just a cast speed if you want to spam it again. That could be cool. I don't know about using it for damage. Removes chill after damage, 19% more damage with hits per 5% chill on enemy. I don't know. Glacial Cascade of Fissure. No knockback, no scaling per burst, but more bursts, more damage, and more damage effectiveness. Glacial Hammer of Nobody Cares. Wait a minute. Hang on. Maybe I take that back. It's got no freeze and no ailment bonus on it. But then it has flat crit multis. The third strike always crits. Okay. Ground Slam of Earth Shattering. Ground Slam. More cost, less attack speed, more damage effectiveness. Smaller bonus to closest target and increased angle. Okay, whatever. I don't really know what's going on there. Oh! Hex Blast. More crit chance. Pog. Resisted by highest resistance instead of lowest. With a higher hit damage if hexed. All damage can still ignite. Chaos damage with hits is resisted by highest resistance instead. 150% more damage with hits if the enemy is hexed. So just ignore elemental ailments. And then you just have to use Despair as one of your curses. Just do it as an Inquisitor. And you still have to use Despair because the highest resistance will just be Chaos if you're ignoring elementals. Hex also deal damage to enemies around it. Base radius is 3 meters. Less cast time. More crit chance. Less damage effectiveness. Plus AoE. No longer gains bonuses against hexed enemies except the area. No ailment gimmicks. No resistance gimmicks. No trigger cooldown penalty. Does not remove hexes. Does not remove hexes. Interesting. Huh. I don't know about this. But if it doesn't remove hexes, it also doesn't freeze, shock, and ignite anymore. I don't know if this is going to affect... I don't know if this gem is going to affect my minor variant. I think that's already set pretty well, and I don't think trying to use this comes out on top. But it does give me other ideas. Yeah, this needs... I need this gem in Path of Building, actually. This is definitely not for my league start. This would actually... There's no way this is for my league start. In fact, probably neither of these are for my league start. But they are both pretty interesting and different enough that I would consider it like almost a different build to be using them. These are almost two new skills that are just going to look roughly the same, like visually, but they're not going to be built the same. They're not going to... They might not even be the same classes. They're new skills with the same visuals. That's cool. Holy Flame Totem of Ire. Less cast time. Projectile count cannot be modified. More projectile speed, but only fires one projectile. Sorry. So instead of the Holy Flame Totem spitting out 3 or more beams in a little area, it's just one giant piss cannon. Just fucking one stream that's much longer. That's a more multiplier on the proj speed too. Straight shooter, no leaks, never misses the toilet bowl. Ice Nova of Frostbolts. This does exactly what I think it's going to do, doesn't it? Yep, this is just Ice Nova going back on the Frostbolts. Ice Nova of Frostbolts can be cast on the Frostbolts, has less damage and less effectiveness, but can expand on 4 Frostbolts. Instead of 2, we get 4, little bit less damage effectiveness, but it's hitting 4 instead of 2, so not really. Okay, cool. I'm happy that that's back. Ice Nova of Deep Freeze. Freezes enemies as though dealing 390% more damage. 50% chance to freeze, extra radius. Ice Spear of Splitting. Excuse me. Ice Spear of Splitting deals quite a lot of damage. Modifiers to number of projectiles instead apply to the number of targets projectiles split towards. Projectiles split towards 7 targets. Secondary form has 300% more projectile speed. Projectiles can split from hitting terrain. 330% damage efficiency. Return proj. Doesn't that make this insane? Right. Infernal Blow of Immolation. Restoration. Upon attacks with your weapon, apply a charge debuff to you the first time you hit an enemy with a skill. Upon reaching 6 charges, or charges expiring, the charge debuff is removed to damage nearby enemies. It's Infernal Blow, but instead of the mob blowing up, you blow up. It's got more duration, more AoE, applies 6 debuff charges to the player instead, and now explodes off you. Lancing Steel of Spraying. Okay. Lancing steel of spraying. More damage effectiveness, pierces all targets, has more projectiles, no steel shard gimmick, no impale. Impale, higher damage penalty after the first enemy hit. So it just fires 12 projectiles that automatically pierce everything. Hits after the first one on each enemy, deal 90% less damage. Hits after the first on each enemy, deal 90% less damage. Shotguns, but poorly? I guess? I'm a little confused by this one. I haven't used Lancing Steel a lot. Recovery on hit stuff. Or also 12 proj with automatic full pierce. Really good delivery system for things. Whether it be cast on crit or corrupting fever or like things like that. As well as ailments isn't listed here. It's just less damage with hits. So like poison lancing steel builds, I guess. I don't know. Leap slam of ground breaking. No flat penalty to attack time, more AoE, smaller maximum distance. Jumps a short distance through the air, damaging and knocking back enemies with weapons. Increased stun duration, base radius. Okay. So like a shorter leap slam that hits for a greater area and stuns people more? I don't know who the fuck is using this. I don't get it. Skip. Lightning conduit of the heavens. Lightning straps a number of enemies around the target location. Cannot be supported by spell cascade. Base radius is 4 meters. Hits up to 16 enemies. Doesn't have a shock interaction, but it's got way more damage. Lightning conduit, more cost, more cast time, more damage effectiveness, less area, target specific enemies instead of AoE hits, but cannot inflict shock, have no multiplier first shock, no trigger cooldown penalty, and can be unleashed. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. Lightning Spire, Trap of Zapping. Okay, the naming fell apart here. Lightning Spire Trap. Less mana cost. No cooldown. More damage effectiveness, but less duration. No throw speed to strike frequency scaling. Fewer striked areas. No crit bonus against shocked enemies. Quality adds a re-trigger chance. Interesting. Okay. Is that trying to turn Lightning Spire Trap into the main trap you throw around? Because it doesn't have like its big cooldown thing. Like it's not an advanced trap anymore? Is it just like, well, this version of it isn't an advanced trap. It's just like a Lightning Spire, but as your main trap. Okay, I'm on board. Lightning Trap Spire of Overloading. Now this one's got a 10-second cooldown, but a 100% crit check. What the fuck? Lightning Spire Trap. More cost. Longer cooldown, much longer. Only one single charge, so you can only have one trap out. More damage effectiveness, less duration. No longer has strike intervals. No longer has throw speed strike scaling. Strikes more areas, but always crits. 8 areas instead of 3. Only 1 base, which means you'll be able to throw 2 with the tree, but 1 base. Strikes every 1 second. Base duration 3.5. Huh. Wait, hang on. Your trapper builds normally quite often have 2 traps. like a clear and a single target. Can you literally be a lightning spire trap build with both these alt lightning spires? You have this one you run around, you clear with, and then you have this one to throw down on bosses? Does that say chains 9 times? 10% more damage per chain? Fucking what? Excuse me? Fuse the melee with electric energy with your swing. In addition to covering some of your physical damage to lightning, stored energy is released from the weapon as a projectile as you strike, flying out to hit further away enemies and chain between them. The projectiles cannot miss as the melee attack hit. 0, okay, 9 plus 9, 10% more per chain. So it's got a little less damage effectiveness. It only has 1 projectile by default. But it doesn't say modifiers to number of projectiles do this instead. So you still have to put projectiles. You have to put projectiles on this to get at least 3. But you can. And then they all chain 9 times. That's so much better than Pierce. What? Yeah, my league start plan might have changed. My league start plan might change. What the fuck is this? Chain, is that 10% per maximum chain or 10% each time it change added up? That's a good question. My assumption is that it's the first one hits for the normal amount, the second one hits for 110, second one hits for, third one hits for 120, 30, 40, 50, etc. The modifier for more damage per time you've changed is specifically listed as for each time this skill has chained. And the one for remaining chains says 15% more damage per remaining chain. Neither wording is here, which leads me to think that it must just be 10% more damage per chain, meaning if you have 9 chains, everything does 90% more damage the whole way. Because neither of the wordings we're used to that would do it one way or the other exist in this gem. So this must be... That means if I add chains, every chain you add would be 10% damage. If it works like that. So you put Awakened Chain Support in, which chains 3 times. It'll give you 6% less damage with hits for the support, but then 30% more damage. So Awakened Chain becomes a 24% more damage multiplier. What the fuck is this? Does it say 9 chains? No, yes. Diggs, have you not been paying attention? Not only does it say 9 chains, it only fires 1 base projectile, but it doesn't have any modifier that says modifiers to the number of projectiles affect this instead. So it has 1 base, but you can add projectiles to it. And, tiny point of contention, 10% more damage per chain. We've never seen that wording before. We've seen 10% more damage per remaining chain, or 10% more damage per time this skill has chained, which is both of those are like stacking in opposite directions. This wording leads me to believe that every chain that is added to the skill just gives it 10% more damage on every hit that it does. So I might need a new computer for that skill. Wait, it has 9 chains? It has 9 chains! Just at base! It actually has 10 chains. It chains off walls and it has 3 projectiles because lol Deadeye. That's insane. This is actually insane. If this said 5 chains, it would be insane. The fact that it says 9 is Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Lightning Tendrils has less frequent strong pulses. Strong pulses have more AoE and damage, less damage and less damage effectiveness. I don't know if I care. Some people have really liked Lightning Tendrils. I've actually seen some Lightning Tendril builds that look pretty good, but I don't give a fuck. Somebody might. It's not a bad gem. I don't. Oh. Lightning Tendrils of Escalation, though. Plus 0.9 meter to radius instead of 0.7. Base radius is 2.4. That's the same. Gain plus 1 meter to radius per second channeling up to a maximum of plus 2 meters. Huh. I've seen some Lightning Tendril totem builds around. This might be really good for. Bombarding clones. So this is the Rain of Arrow one with a maximum of 3 and 40% CDR, and minions deal more damage. So they're the two Mirror Arrow ones to go with Blink Arrow. Molten Strike of the Zenith. The fuck does that last line say? Sorry, I just got distracted by that really big number. Every 5th attack projectiles deal 1000% more damage with hits and ailments. Fucking what? Fires 3 projectiles, 60% converted, plus 6 strike range. Projectiles deal 50% less damage with hits and ailments, but every 5th deals 1000% more. And it's two-handed only. Every 5th attack deals 5 projectiles instead of 3, with 1000% more. I'm not gonna lie, that feels awkward as fuck. You have to put on a two-hander, and 4 out of 5 strikes do nothing, and then the 5th strike does all your damage. That sounds trash. So you have 1 attack, repeats an additional 3 times, giving you 4 attacks, and then final repeats deal 60% more damage. Non-travels repeat an additional time. So there's a 60% more multiplier on that 1000% more damage that could be procced every single time you do a multi-strike attack. Because that's 5. Awaken multi-strike gives you a total of 4. If you Forbidden Flesh Fatal Flourish on top of it, every single attack hits 5 times. Every single attack hits 5 times. And if every single attack hits 5 times, then you get every 5th attack projectiles deal 1000% more damage. And on top of that, also the 60% more from here.